Welcome to the Disney Hour Express podcast. I'm Abby.
And I'm Rob. We are two hopelessly romantic Disney enthusiasts,
Sharing fun stories, secret tips, and family travel experiences.
If you are a Disney newbie, or maybe a season pass holder, we hope you find this information helpful.
We turned our love of Disney into a unique boutique travel agency that books Disney and Universal vacations.
We've got a lot of stories, so cozy on up, choose your favorite drink,
Whether that be a cocktail or a hot chocolate,
and enjoy the Disney Hour Express.
Well, welcome to episode 72 of the Disney Hour Express. We're so excited to have you here, my fellow Pioneers. Can't wait to talk to you about this exciting weekend that we've had, and we've definitely aligned it with our podcast this weekend.
Well, that's, I have a very important question to ask you.
Is it?
Do you want to build a snowman?
I absolutely do.
Because it's a little hot in this room. And
Yeah. I need my own personal flurry.
See, Olaf would, he would enjoy that.
Oh my
Definitely.
goodness. Well,
We are fully immersed in
Frozen. Our girls were in Frozen Kids this weekend. It was the cutest thing we ever did see about 4 times over. So we enjoyed it all, everything. It was just those kids getting up on stage and like belting out these songs that they grew up with this movie.
Yeah.
Like, yes, this is like the perfect age for them. But just seeing them shine under the spotlight, oh my God. Don't get me crying again. It was crazy.
Our girls were storytellers 2 and 4.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And
Lots of lines going
lots of
on
lines, lots of singing. They're on stage a lot. Hey, Lando, cut it out.
Lando's already cutting up today.
Lando, I tell you. Yeah. Now, the interesting thing, and we won't go too far into the weeds on display, was obviously our first night. The show was Friday night. Abby was a nervous wreck. I won't tell her because she's a great mom, and she spent a lot of time going over their lines and making sure they were ready and doing their hair and put all this great effort in. So she was nervous. And then,
listen, I had one of those experiences though in the audience where you're just like, okay, like my eyes are just welling up and like, that's all right. I can kind of hide it. But then guys, they like over flooded, like streaming tears down my face. Like they were just starting to kind of like it was that Alice in Wonderland like theme where she just starts crying and the whole room fills with water.
Now,
and
was it really with our girls that made you cry?
It's so funny because like I was holding it together because we were so close to the front of the stage where they were standing that I was like, I can't let them see me cry. They're going to think I'm hurt or something's wrong with me. Like I can't. So I'm like pursing my lips and I'm like, just keep those tears in, like very. And then one of their very good friends got on stage who I know really well. Yeah. And she just nailed it.
And she was playing the eldest Anna. Yeah.
Yes, I absolutely friggin' lost it. It was ridiculous. If this little girl's parents saw me, like they'd be like, I didn't know you were so emotionally invested in my child. But it was like, I'm already tearing up talking about it. Anyways, I've got problems, people. I got problems. It was great.
Yes, it was great. Hats off to everyone again.
Yeah.
A lot of props to any of the kids acting. Just getting up there. Yeah. I don't know if I could do it. It's a lot.
Yeah, but it also, they say like a lot, like, the things that you didn't get to do as a child, you definitely try to provide for your children. And I think we didn't have these opportunities quite like this. I mean, we had regular like theater programs in our schools and stuff in middle school and onward. But like to be this young and to learn this skill, I can't even imagine what their high school productions are going to look like.
Yeah,
are you kidding me? So yeah, or what their expectations are going to be for their high school productions might be quite high. They're going to be like, "Where's the black box at high school?" What black? What are you talking about?
Now, to add even a little bit more to our loopiness, we also had Bailey was sick.
Oh yeah,
she started not feeling good during the performance, and she unfortunately missed her last performance.
last one, yeah.
But she had sort of a rough night. So
Oh my gosh.
we were on
so
parent
we did
duty.
not sleep, not even like a little. Maybe if we fell asleep, it was for like 12 minutes.
Yeah,
and it was a really rough night. So here we are. Like almost nighttime again, and like no sleep or anything. We're just roughing it out at this point. We're just like,
yep,
just got to keep going.
I remember when weekends used to be relaxing.
You know what though? What we started this weekend, which I am really loving and hope continues through the summer, is having coffee on our back porch in the morning with our little fireplace. I really enjoy it. It makes me feel like this is the day, like this is wonderful. Versus like, I usually am spoiled beyond belief and get coffee in bed and I'll watch the news and stuff. But something about going outside and just seeing a beautiful day and drinking the coffee, it's really nice.
It's good to enjoy things like that. It's the little moments, the peaceful moments that mean a lot.
I love that. So I hope we get to continue on.
It's like walking through the woods in Arendelle.
Oh.
When you see a reindeer and a strapping young ice salesperson.
I'm telling you, these kids all cracked me up with their renditions of these characters. They did a wonderful. But we're going to jump right in. There are all sorts of different places that you can see Arendelle and Frozen and everything, but we need to start at the very beginning with the movie, which Rob is our movie guy, so he's gonna cover that.
Yeah, so I'm here to talk about 2013's Frozen.
Dun dun dun.
It was very loosely based on the Hans Christian Andersen story, The Snow Queen, which was written in 1844.
Ooh. Good old Disney, always doing that.
It was a much different story. The Snow Queen herself was essentially Elsa was the antagonist of it, and she was evil. And it was about like these two kids and going up against the Snow Queen. So Walt Disney Studios was trying to turn that into a movie for years. Because they've turned other fairy tales into movies, and they just couldn't nail it. Yeah, they couldn't figure out how to make that story. So, along came Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee, who were the writers of Frozen, and they reimagined the Snow Queen as a complex character struggling with her powers rather than a straightforward antagonist, right? Because in a way, Elsa kind of is somewhat the antagonist, right? She turns Arendelle into a, never-ending winter.
Yeah.
And because she can't deal with her emotions kind of going on. So in a way she is, but, we know there's a big beating heart underneath all that ice. Yeah, she's definitely misunderstood. So it was Chris Buck, Jennifer Lee, Chris Buck. Oh, they were the directors, and then Jennifer Lee was the one who wrote.
Oh, okay.
The screenplay. For that, the songs were written by Christian Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez. They were a husband and wife duo. I think we talked about them before, but obviously they wrote Let It Go, and they previously worked on like Avenue Q and Winnie the Pooh, Broadway musicals, Winnie the Pooh. Who knew? Christopher Beck, same sort of thing. He wrote the score. He worked on the Muppets. He also worked on Pitch Perfect. See things like that. So, they wrote that. Then there was a new animation that came out, and that was kind of like the big thing. It was a realism to the animation. The way that they produced like the snow and wind and all these effects, and it was like something that hadn't been seen before. So it kind of took everything by storm.
Yes.
There was obviously Elsa, played by Idina Menzel. Very talented Broadway performer.
Yes, but, very well known.
Very well known. It's hard to know things in the Broadway, right?
Sphere. So outside of that,
you don't really know.
Right.
But
So she started, I think she got her fame, and all you Broadway geeks can definitely yell at me if you'd like, but I believe that she got her fame in Wicked. She was, I believe, the queen, the evil queen, right? I think so.
Don't know the story of Wicked.
And yeah, she definitely belted her life out over there on that show.
Anna, played by Kristen Bell.
I know, and everybody's like, who knew she could sing like that? That's so great.
And everybody kind of knew she has that like spunky kind of energy to her, right?
Yes, it definitely was a match.
Which I'm going to make you watch Veronica Mars.
Okay.
You're going to like it. First season, second season, third season, but maybe.
I'm very confused about Veronica Mars because when I saw Forgetting Sarah Marshall, didn't they have like nods to Veronica Mars that she was like on this like show?
Somewhat.
And the thing is, I thought it was all like fictional. I was like,
well, I mean, it's
very
fictitious.
Confused.
Yeah, it's all, but but it's not like cheesy like that was like the show.
So it was a little different.
Yeah, it's a little different, and it's in high school, or it starts off that way at least. So then they had Olaf, played by Josh Gad, very funny guy, lots of improvisation, and Christoph, played by Jonathan Groff from, I think he was from, I can't think of the name of the show. All the kids were performing in high school.
High School Musical?
No.
Glee?
Glee, yeah, okay. There it is. Okay, yeah, so that's where I know him from, but he was also a Broadway, he was on Broadway and so on and so forth. So putting all these stars together, and our voice, obviously Let It Go was the big hit, and that just took over everything. Box office, it premiered in the United States November 27, 2013. It grossed over $400 million domestically, which is huge. Ginormous.
Yeah.
What a big deal. But internationally, it earned over $1.2 billion.
Oh my gosh.
So even bigger across the globe. So it was the biggest in the UK and Japan. And that kind of makes sense on why there's all these Japanese counterparts of Frozen.
Yeah. They love it.
Yeah. Which, when you think about it, right, it's like there are these two, very Caucasian sisters. And it's like mostly all Caucasian people in throughout it. But it made it through into Japan. It's,
That's
hey,
cool.
I mean,
That's
everything crossing the Frozen lines, as they say. It won 2 Academy Awards, Best Animated Feature, and also Best Song for Let It Go. And that's really about it for the movie. But yeah, definitely like a huge just cultural phenomenon. I remember it. I didn't see it in a theater or anything, but my niece, our niece Naya, like performing it when she was like 3 years old, like us having to sit and like watch over, like repetitive performances of Let It Go, and she had everything down, and it's hilarious.
It's a thing. Yeah. I think all of the kids went through this phase.
Yeah. What about you?
We have a lot of old Anna and Elsa dresses. They had the shoes, they had the hair. They dressed up for it as Halloween, and then just everyday fun. I mean, it's a thing for sure.
Did you see it? You didn't see it in like the theaters.
Did we see it in the theaters? We saw it in like one of our like town theaters maybe like a year later, because you have to remember, I mean, this is they were like just little itty bitty babies,
little bitty babies.
But we saw it in like a local town theater. I think the first time I really brought her to a real theater was for Moana. That came out a little bit later, but we watched this at home pretty much. I mean, it was this and Curious George. Like it was over and over again.
Equally as impressive. Animation from Curious George.
So we watched a lot of this, and it was good times. My babies.
Oh boy.
Anyways,
So due to the impact of that and how much money it made, you would say, hey, Disney, where's the ride at, right?
Right. So they absolutely needed to make something. Now they ran into a couple of problems though, because if you think about it, like Epcot at that time was really about the lands, right? We're looking at the lands and we're going on rides that having to do with the lands. And now it's very different. But when they started to bring over this Frozen Ever After ride, it came in 2016, and we're going to talk about it a little bit before that.
Okay.
Rob just messed up my notes because when he types in them, it changes my place where I am. Robert.
I like doing that. Keep her on her toes at all times.
Anywho, where did it go? Okay, here we go. So, Frozen Ever After ride, again, it's in Epcot. It was built using the track and vehicles of the former Maelstrom ride. This was a water attraction that ran from 1988 to 2014 and showcased Norwegian culture and mythology. You guys, I've seen this ride before, and I've listened to a podcast about it, and oh my gosh, it was the most boring podcast ever. I apologize. But the ride reflected the podcast as well. So it was a little confusing about what time frame in Norwegian history they were trying to grasp onto, because you'd go in and there'd be like Norwegian muscular men with shields and like bare bodies, and then there's like,
they're wearing helmets and they're getting ready. So it was like the Vikings, right?
Yes,
like showing like
thank
that.
You. But
and then all of a sudden you're like, there's like an offshore like oil rig. Yeah, you're like, what?
You're like, is this? How does this relate to my Viking?
What's going on here?
It was very weird. And it was very dark. Like, now this is a dark ride, the Frozen ride, but there's so much different lighting techniques used that your eye is really drawn to the show, the lighting, rather than be sitting in a dark boat. Whereas the Maelstrom ride was just kind of dark all around. The lighting wasn't fabulous or anything. But can we really blame them that when you start this ride in 1988? I mean, that's some old stuff going on there.
Yeah, much like any of the rides from back then, they just...
So basically, they scooped up this ride, and there were apparently a lot of angry people out there because they wanted to keep Maelstrom. It's like a cult classic, I guess you would call it, right? So then they turned it over into Frozen. And the ride takes guests on a summer snow day celebration with slow moving boat plunges down waterfalls and appearances from Frozen characters like Anna and Olaf. So a nice, pleasant little ride. But again, they kept the boats, they kept the areas. It was really interesting to watch the old ride and see the new ride and like be like, oh my goodness. So they kind of like flipped some things around, like the exit and the entrance, to make kind of a more pleasant open line.
Yes.
Because the other line was very like claustrophobic.
You're just going down like a hallway, whereas this you're going in and out. It's an open space. You're going in and out of a queue. It's a winding queue.
Yeah. So this is definitely, speaking of queues, this is definitely like a rope drop ride. You want to think about this as in your plan as you're going to it first, because the line is always long.
Even if your friend is waiting for coffee at Joffrey's.
Yes, that was so tough. I was like, are you serious right now? So anyways, when you're waiting in the line for Frozen, your eyes are just enjoying all of the amazing imagination and scenery that came to this ride. Like you've got the chisel and pick, like so cool. You've got the wandering Oaken's trading post and the sauna. And that's where I think what is his name? Oaken,
Oaken. Yep.
He comes up into like the window of the sauna.
Yeah.
There's an image of him, and it's just like steamy, and he's like, "Oh, hello," or whatever voice he uses.
He's like doing all these things.
Yeah, and he's like doing a little fingerprint.
He like clears out the thing. Yeah, it's just entertaining. There's a lot of stuff. It's
cute, and there's a lot to look at. There's just like detail around every corner. There's like lanterns up above you. There's like everything's painted to look like a Norwegian village. It's beautiful. I really do like standing in this line.
Yeah,
it's fun. So
I find it to be very romantic. Like I want to be alone with you like slow dancing like by a fire or something, you know.
It's got to be those lanterns that do it that are above you, and then like hearing the water rush by and everything. It's really nice. So this ride opened with more advanced electronics than we had seen on the family friendly rides in the past, because again we're talking, what was it, 2016. So they were like ready to rock. As a nod to Maelstrom, they kept the same boats with their Nordic design, which you could definitely see if you're looking at the front of the boat. You'll see kind of this beautiful, tall, as a boater, I should really know what it's called, but it's a tall ornamental detail. It's beautiful. I like it. And the path that it rides on is really similar. It doesn't, you know, it's just a similar path. I'm sorry, I'm not
to Maelstrom.
Yeah, to Maelstrom.
Yes. Yeah, we saw. It looked like there were a few differences, but
yeah. So it was just really a fanciful overlay that they were doing here. The music absolutely emotionally leads you into every new scene. Like you're feeling it. They have it just at that right volume where you're like engaged and ready.
Yep.
The Imagineers did a fantastic job creating an immersive atmosphere, and it just enhances everything. So I thought it was so interesting that they used projection on the faces rather than having animatronics, because I was looking at when the Under the Sea ride opened, and they had like really good animatronics for that one, and then they open up Frozen, and I felt like the projection on the faces was a little bit different. I didn't feel like it was as advanced.
Yes.
So and sometimes like the faces can like die, or the mapping
they get out of sync or something,
and you know, they malfunction and stuff, so it's a little different. The choice there was a little different.
I find it somewhat distracting, to be honest with you.
Because you're like, oh, where is it coming from, or like, why is it only on half of her face, like what's going on?
It's just, or just the way it's lit too, it's just, it like stands out so much.
It really does, you're right.
So
you
it's
feel like she's getting a face peel or something.
It's like Disney, just close it down for a few weeks and replace the animatronics. Like it's, you know.
So I'm interested to see Tiana's by you, because they're going to all be really like animatronics, like good stuff there.
Yes.
So that will be interesting to see.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about some other stuff in a couple minutes.
So then they have, I didn't know what it was called, but that big snow monster. Yeah. Not Olaf, but the monster that's like guarding.
Marshmallow.
His name is called Marshmallow. Yeah. And he's the enormous icy snowman born from Elsa's powers. He serves as a brute bodyguard charged with keeping intruders away from her ice palace. So this guy is what sends you rushing down like the little hill where you might get a little wet your little boat ride there.
I like how they always have that sign that they show in front of the ride that, you know, you might get wet.
Yes, they do.
Like, you really though?
They said like if you're on the left side, you're more likely to get wet than on the right side, but I really am not going to stand by that. I feel like
I really have only had I
trickles.
sit like my seat sometimes is wet and maybe it gets a little wetter, but that's really it. So I usually have a wet behind when I'm leaving, which in the Florida sun is okay.
Yep. So yeah, that pretty much is a wrap on the ride. It's phenomenal. You're going to have a little bit of a wait, but it's always worth it because
it is a busy
really
one.
Cool.
It is a busy one.
I love it.
The kids love Frozen.
Oh yeah.
Now, over friends in Hong Kong Disney?
Yes, it was Hong Kong Disney.
Yes.
Whoa. Talk about their love for Arendelle.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about, how it made so much money in Japan. So they were like, we're going to take a few years, but we're going to build something out here.
Yeah.
And they built out like a full Arendelle.
Yes, they did. And it's just like phenomenal. It looks exactly like Arendelle. Their clocks even tick with the music, right? From Arendelle. And the rides. The ride was pretty similar, right? The first one there to our Frozen in Orlando.
There were two rides in that in this in Hong Kong Disney Arendelle, one was called Slaying Sliders, I think, or Sliding Slayers, Sliding Slays maybe. And that was just kind of a roller coaster. It's somewhat short. It's kind of like a Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Yes,
but outside.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's like a family. It's supposed to be like a family coaster, like that.
Yeah.
So that was something. But then it does have Frozen Ever After.
Yes. Yeah. Ride. So similar, but again, the animatronics, it's like a full animatronic. Yeah. Nothing's projected. I've got to sneeze.
Yep. She is sneezing. And so, yeah, it is better animatronics.
Yes, much better looking. It's really impressive. Even the folks that were showing us the ride in their video were making lots of comments on that, like, oh my gosh. Like,
and, bless you. I forgot to say.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Really cool.
That was really cool. And they were showing us all the immersive, it's an immersive experience, right?
Absolutely.
So they have what they called their quick service dining.
Oh my gosh.
This place was crazy. Like, and it was two Disney influencers that were showing us this, and it was like a media day. So they tried everything that was like offered. And for quick service for us, right, when we think of going to Disney World in quick service, you're getting like a hot dog or chicken fingers and fries or something like that.
Something terribly unhealthy.
And these were like 5 like full meals that they had gotten. Now, mind you, they were expensive.
They were like in the upper $20 range.
Yeah, upper 20 to like low 30s for food, but it was like you were getting like chicken cordon bleu.
Yeah, like a lamb shank.
Yeah, it was like a lamb shank. They had a vegetarian option that had like egg yolk and mushroom, and it had like a lot of truffles in it.
Yes.
And it was,
they were like, if you don't like truffles, it's probably not for you. Yeah. They also had like a seafood kind of platter that had like shrimp, clams, and salmon, I believe, and like a sauce. Okay. So, yeah, and it wasn't like these things looked like they came out of a microwave with plastic on them. They were in like nice cast iron dish stuff that I was like, you gotta be kidding me. What is this? Like,
and the reason they said they have it is they said this is how they envision people eating in Arendelle. Like, these are the meals that they would envision being made, and just like that's everyday life. So that's what they decided to do. And this is
quick service.
Yeah.
Quick service. Nuts. But they even had like blue Fanta, which was kind of funny.
Heidi saw it. She's like, was that blue Fanta? Yeah. Interesting.
They do love their Fanta. Yeah. So that was really interesting to see. They also had some other treats. They had a Olaf ice cream cone, and it was meant to be like a melty cone, right? Because he's melting in the summer. And although she said it was really good and it looked really great, I'm just like saying to Rob, like, why would you want to give your child a melty ice cream? Like, that is going to be a mess. And she mentioned she had to go to the restroom and wash her hands and clean up because it melted was like going really down her fast. Arm
and everything. Like,
there's something about the product that makes it melt that way.
It would be like part of Bailey. Like, she would just be, it would cover her entire body.
And me too. I'm the same. I would not be able to like not get it all over my clothes. Like, it would just be ridiculous.
Well, anyways, I think it's worth it. It's worth the mess.
Cute. They had a coronation day kind of ice cream-ish thing that looked really sweet and cute. Yeah, it looked cute. So anyways, we're getting into the foodie, but again, imagine being in Arendelle. I mean, cobblestone streets painted in the kind of like maroon and blue colors with the stenciled kind of leaf or whatever it is. It was just amazing.
They have the characters walking around, like they showed at Kristoff. They had an Oaken going around and doing his thing and walking like in the clogs.
And they talk, and it was really interesting. They even had a little, troll.
Oh yeah, I forget
what the name was of the troll,
like
but
Masha or something like that, or
something along those lines. But super cute.
Yes.
So I don't know. It was beautiful.
It almost makes you think. It's like why wouldn't Disney Worlds? Why wouldn't they want to build that out more? Because it seems like a mineable IP that still is worth value. I don't know. I didn't check to see if is there a Frozen 3 in production somewhere, I can only imagine.
I mean, I've seen some fake things, like, where Elsa's pregnant, but I'm not really sure if that's
By
a real
Olaf?
thing. No.
Anyway.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it just turned weird.
Yeah, in any case, it looked amazing.
Yes.
And then, in addition, we watched a ride.
Over at the Fantasy Spring, the new Fantasy Springs
brand
over
new
in
this
Tokyo,
weekend, right?
Tokyo DisneySea. Again, it's they just like had previews for it, and we talked about it a little last week, and they're having like a big opening event, which I think is now. Did it say I have to go back and look. I don't want to say the wrong date, but there was a preview event where you could watch like the opening. If you're wondering what Fantasy Springs is, it's 3 new lands coming to Tokyo DisneySea. It's Frozen, it's Tangled, and Peter Pan.
Nice.
Yeah, and so then they each have like corresponding rides. They looked very cool. The Frozen ride in the Fantasy Springs looked amazing.
Yeah.
I would say it's even better. It's not called Frozen Ever After. It's Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey.
Okay. Yep.
So it was a little bit different. It's still telling the story, but it seemed more immersive, and the effects seemed even more like cooler. They seemed like more advanced. Mm-hmm. Even the animatronics seemed better.
Yeah.
Really awesome. And it does have like in this, because it's a land as well, and it does have an Arendelle in it. So it also looks pretty amazing. The other lands look great too. This is a Peter Pan ride I would get behind.
Yeah.
It looked kind of, me and Bailey were watching it. It looked kind of like an Avatar Flight of the Passage. Ooh, where you're like flying with Peter Pan and going through. So, make sure you bring your Dramamine. But
that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Again, like they really went all out with the decorations, the line to get onto the ride. Amazing. Yes. It was so cool. I mean, it looked really, really long. Like, I can't imagine how many hours you'd be waiting in that line, but it was really well done. They had like a beautiful fireplace. It's like you're inside an Elsa's castle in Arendelle. So they really...
it had like these paintings on the wall of all the characters like together. And it was really amazing.
Yeah. Fantastic. So that's our little journey of Frozen reviews. Yes. We hope that you've enjoyed that. What kind of news have we got?
So, staying somewhat on topic, continuing, here's an ellipsis, and we're heading into Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey ride vehicles flooding at Fantasy Springs. So it is a water ride.
Yeah.
So they said that anytime it gets to max capacity, when it gets max capacity, they're actually like there's water coming into the
I did
floor of
see that. That's terrible.
So it looks like they got some they got to figure some stuff out. So the boats are designed to fit a maximum up to 16 guests. It seems like they're going to be backing them down to maybe 14. They're going to be looking like best. If I come on there, they're going to be like, yeah, let's make it 11, guy. Right? Yeah, so that was over there. So they'll figure that out, though. Coming back over to the States now, Disney's Hollywood Studios. Does anyone know that there's 2 projection shows that happen on the, at the Chinese theater?
Chinese theater?
Yes.
Did we know it? Yes. Have we seen it? Nope. No, we've heard about it. It's a nice, quick little 9-minute show or so.
Something like that. So there's 2. There's the Wonderful World of Animation, and then there's also Disney Movie Magic.
Yep.
They look. I watched some of the videos of both of them. They look somewhat similar, but they were happening once a night. Up until this coming week. On I think it was Tuesday, it's closing down. Hollywood Studios is closing down early for a private event.
I know,
which is pretty cool. I mean, I want that private event.
I know.
I want to be there. So cool. I want to close and just have go on.
Agreed.
Millennium Falcon over and over again. So the world of animation obviously is So June 5th is when it's closing. There's no show June 6th. It's coming back on June 7th.
Okay.
At 10 p.m. Wonderful World of Animation. But the Disney movie Magic, like everything's gone. Like it's not, it doesn't appear on any of the schedules. The webpage for it is gone. It seems like it's gone bye-bye.
Oh, okay. Well,
so we're never going to be able to get to see it.
But let's think about it. In our experience, didn't we just the way it closes 10 p.m. having a show there is really late for a place that generally closes shop pretty early.
When Abby and I went there and when we saw Fantasmic and then we were leaving, trying to get over to Oga's Cantina to go. Right. We had a 9:55.
Lights were off. We felt like intruders if we were to continue down towards our reservation.
Now they were saying something that these shows, I think, were more scheduled during the winter months because obviously there's more darkness.
Okay.
There's less dark. There's more light.
Yep.
It gets darker later is what I'm trying to say in the summer. So maybe they were just that's why they weren't even showing them at the time that we were there.
Yeah.
And they were going to come back later in the fall.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll keep you up to date. We'll keep you abreast of the situation.
That's right. We will.
Over in Disneyland, they moved dirt, and it's important dirt.
Whoa.
Over in moving dirt. That's what I'm talking about. Haunted Mansion, the grounds expansion, right? So Haunted Mansion's closed.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is kind of a bummer if you go to Disneyland. You know what I mean?
And it's closed for a long time.
And the whole thing, it's closed just for an expanded outdoor queue.
Which stinks. It's come on, really?
So it's kind of crazy. Now, the queue sounds like it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to have Madame Leota, and it's going to have these gardens, and it's going to be all kind of, there's going to be, things to look at. But of course, because, Disney, they're also going to put in a gift shop.
Yeah.
Like I said, everything's closed right now. There's the speculation, right, is that it's going to open in August. But because of the fact that in August, they then put in the Halloween overlay starts for the Haunted Mansion. And then it goes from the Halloween overlay to the Christmas overlay.
Yes.
So that you're not going to see the regular Haunted Mansion until January. Yeah. So they're still expecting that. I haven't got an updated opening date for it. So if you're going there trying to see, the OG, the old school Haunted Mansion.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You're out
you
of
have
luck.
to go to 2025. Universal's pretty slow right now. There's not too much going on. They're getting ready, DreamWorks Land. It seems like they're trying to hide it.
So weird.
Yeah. Just it happened. It's there. Check it out if you want.
Oh my gosh, I'm really disappointed in that because I was really hoping this was going to be a cool place.
Go buy a Poppy doll or something.
Oh, I hate that.
But what they are, Halloween Horror Nights is fast approaching. And so what they announced is that the premium Scream Night is going to be August 29th.
Ooh.
The first official day of Halloween Horror Nights is August 30th.
Okay.
So if you didn't know, because I also didn't, premium Scream Night is everything you love about Halloween Horror Nights, but with a limited capacity, shorter wait times, haunted house entries staggered by group, and select all you care to enjoy food and more.
Okay, what's the price tag on that?
So, pricing for Premium Scream Night is $350 plus tax.
Oof.
If you're an annual pass holder, it's $325.
Okay, well, I mean, think about it. Are you getting all of the houses done, and you're getting to pick your food?
Yeah, and it's stuff? Free. It's all you care to eat, food and other stuff.
I feel like that's probably a really good value if you can get it, because there are nights there. I understand you're only spending $100 or so on the ticket, $150, but then you're also got to buy your food, and you're not guaranteed to see the houses because it's not a premium, it's not staggered.
And you also get free self-parking on the night of the event, which is good.
We got a note that says, I love you.
Oh.
Super sweet.
We love you.
We love you.
And that was all I had.
Yeah.
So we love you guys for coming here and listening to us.
We certainly do. And we really appreciate it. We got more news for you next week, but we're keeping it nice and short and sweet this week.
Because we need to sleep.
That's right. We hope that you enjoy some frozen slushies for yourself, and we'll talk to you soon.
This has been a Family Travel Planner production.